when destiny takes hold. What will you do? Where will you go? The road you travel isn't paved with gold. The story's told, and the heart of the night takes another. You know it's there. You hear that call, but how will you ensure that they won't fall?
Hey guys, this is Spark Plus Ultra here, and this is part 2 on What If Asta Had Shiki Magic, the Gravity Devil, and I hope you like this video and hope you subscribe. After 10 years have passed, Asta has been training his strength and his magic to work on how he can become much stronger. When he's thinking about something, looking at the stars, at the sky, and Asta raises his hand and grasps it, and he thinks to himself, how can I shine bright and make so many friends? And Asta then stopped his training, and Asta then remembers the 10-year promise from Noel that he kept in his head. A promise is a promise! And then goes to the church, and in the middle of the night they eat their lunch, and then Asta said this, hey, I was wondering about something. And Ozai then says, huh? What's the matter, Asta? And Sister Lily is also wondering, you know as well. And Asta says, my goal is to make lots of friends. So if I could change things to help others, then I'll make lots of friends. With a interesting thought, but by that. And Asta then says, oh, I want to be the Wizard King to make lots of friends! And all of the people in the church, Ozai, Sister Lily, Yuno, Rekka, Nash, were all in silence on what he said. And Yuno says, that's a stupid goal. Hey, it's a nice goal. I just want to make lots of friends, you know. And Yuno says, maybe I would be Wizard King. And Asta says, that's my goal! Stop taking it! In a worried look, and Yuno then gets a little cheeky with him for fun's sake. And Ozai says, that's a good intention on your goal, Asta, but it's hard to become a Wizard King. And Sister Lily says, yes, sometimes it's not very good goal, but it's your choice. Don't let anyone put that on you. And Asta says, oh, it's my free will. I'm gonna be the Wizard King. And Yuno says, And Asta then says, what? Yuno says, you're so one-sided. Feeling a weight of one-sided on his head. Why don't you stop teasing me? Come on. And Yuno then laughs a bit. And then on the next day, Yuno and Asta go to get their grimoires. And then they get their grimoires, and Yuno got his 4-leaf clover grimoire, as in canon. And Asta didn't get one, and all the people laughing at him not having a grimoire. But Asta has magic, meaning he's not too sad about it, but it is worrisome to him. But when he comes back to get Yuno, he sees Revich Silic taking Yuno's grimoire, and Asta says, what are you doing? And using gravity magic to get close and try to punch him, but Revich Silic dodges and uses his chain magic to whip him back to the wall. And then Revich Silic says, you're quite noticeable. You dare to interfere with royal duty? And Asta says, what are you doing? Give back Yuno's grimoire! And Revich Silic says, such an idiot kid. You don't even know how much this thing is worth. It's a mere peasant has one? I'll sell it to a royal to give it that. And Asta then gets annoyed. Give it back! Using gravity magic to weigh down the chains, cracking him. And Asta then jumps at full speed with gravity magic and trying to punch him. But Ravage Silic then says, "Ugh," and using chains magic to stop him. Nice try, but it won't work. Constricting Asta, and Asta then looking at Ravage Silic. Give back Yuno's grimoire! With a yelled out shout, and his gravity gets even stronger. But when he sways his hand, his gravity makes a little sphere and was chucked by accident that he didn't even notice. And then Ravage Silic looks at it. No problem, I can just... But when he uses his chains, they break on impact. And Ravage Silic says, "What?" And felt that impact hit him. That was that momentum of how much impact that gravity has? But then Asta uses the ground to touch it by his hand, and then gravity makes him float up in the air, and then he uses his gravity magic to unconfine himself with one hand on the right side and the other on the left, and breaking out of the chains. And when he does that, his grimoire appears, and his hands glow even brighter with green color. But when it was turning brighter with green, there was a second grimoire, and two grimoires that were around Asta, and his arm then turns into black, red, glowing, and the two magic that were in front of him, two grimoires, the Satan's gravity and anti-magic. What? Two grimoires? And Ravage Silic then sees that. What? How did you have two? That's impossible! And Asta then looks at the anti-grimoire and raises his hand, and the grimoire then gives out a long sword. And then the anti-demon slayer sword. And Asta then grabs it, and both the anti-magic and Satan's gravity magic merge to become anti-gravity Satan's magic. And Asta then says this: "Get ready, because here I come, Silic!" And then Asta uses his momentum on the very wall with his gravity and says, "Let's go!" And jumping at a high speed with the Demon Slayer sword and slashing down with a great amount of force on Ravage Silic, slashing through every chain he come across, and with a mighty blow, knocking him back and crushing through the wall. And Asta then was amazed on having two grimoires, but when he stopped from his amazement, he then grabs Yuno's grimoire and says, "Hey Yuno, I got it for you. Here, giving back Yuno's grimoire." And Yuno says, "Thanks, Asta. I didn't expect you to get two grimoires." And Asta says, "I'm more impressed as well. I thought no one gets a second one. And Yuno was amazed, but thinks, "So, you still want to be the Wizard King?" And Asta says, "Heck yeah!" And both were shaking their hand and happy to see that they are on each other's side and becoming rivals. Then the next day, both Asta and Yuno go to the Clover Village to become Magic Knights. And Asta says, "See ya, Sister Lily! Nash, don't be so rude." And Yuno says, "You really are a little brother or older brother. Hey, I'm the same age as you, but you are smaller than me." Then they get into an argument, and Yuno says, "Hey Asta, are you still afraid of..." And then Asta says, "Afraid of what? Bugs? Is there a bug on me?" And Yuno then laughs, says, "No, there's no bug on you. And Asta says, stop doing that! Trying to not be afraid of bugs. Then, when they get to the Clover Village, they see anti-birds and villagers. The villagers were feeding the anti-birds, but when they were feeding the anti-birds saw Asta and were confused on a certain way. He has magic, but also doesn't, so it makes it hard to tell if it's really magic or not. But when they were surrounding Asta, a big bird, or big anti-bird, flies, and all the little anti-birds fly off in fear from the big one. And the big one sat on top of Asta. Hey there, little guy. I haven't had someone on top of me. Asta then laughs, seeing the anti-bird, the big one, and smiles and says, "You wanna be friends?" While he was trying to pet the anti-bird was a little ruffled on that, but not too bad. And Asta says, I've never seen one of these before. And says, come on, Asta, you need to get going. And Asta says, right! And gets to the stadium. Asta and get their brooms and use them. Obviously has it pretty easy dealing with his broom, but with Asta, he tried to use magic on it, but he couldn't get it up. But when Asta thinks, maybe I could. But when he was thinking about something, Seke then comes and says, haha! I see that a beginner is having a hard time channeling magic. And Asta was looking at him confusingly and says, yeah? Why do you want to help me? And Seke then says, I think it's a good time to help a fellow person that needs a little help with their magic. Just when Seke was going to explain, Asta then accidentally uses his Satan's gravity to make his broom fly. And Asta says, oh, looks like I got it under control. And he was floating. And Seke then says, you didn't even need guidance. Is he making? No, I highly doubt that. And Asta was kind of confused on what Seke was doing. He doesn't even know if he wants to be his friend or not. Then Seke tries to get him to do a simple construct, but Asta then makes his own by creating gravity around his arm and making spheres out of them. And Seke was annoyed on how Asta got those so quickly, and he was doing it much easier than him without even trying. Then he tries to show him how to use his magic to attack. But when he tried to do that, when the sphere he made, Asta then threw it at the target and says, I think I got it. And Seke says, it's getting too arrogant at this. Maybe I can take him down pegs with this one. And then Seke uses his defense bronze magic to make it shield. But when he does that, Asta then gets out his Demon Slayer anti-magic sword and slam it down onto him. And then the creatures then realize that they saw two grimoires coming out from Asta. And Asta says, did I win? With scratching his head on curiosity, because he didn't expect to win that easily with Seke. And Asta then reels back his Demon Slayer sword and puts it back into his anti-magic grimoire. And the practitioners were amazed on how effective he is used to with 2 grimoires that they never even seen before, and how effective he can be with it. And then Asta got the rookie stars and was the MVP, just as in canon. And if I had to say, when the captains see Asta was smiling with a excited grin and says, "Alright, it's very nice to meet you, captains. I'll be helping you guys." With a excited, cheery smile. Golian was having a little great time with seeing his cheery attitude, but despite not sensing his magic, he can also sense little parts of his Satan's gravity magic, which is interesting to him. And he raises his hand on choosing Asta, and when Asta hears Nozel Sylvia, Asta then frowns a bit. "Oh, you." And Nozel says, "Huh? What, do you know me, kid?" And Asta says, "No, I met someone that talked a lot about you." And Nozel says, "Who is that? Somebody that you have rumored about me?" And Asta says, I guess you can say someone close." And Nozel then says, "What do you mean by that?" Having his steel magic coming up and says, "What do you mean by someone close?" And then Asta says, "I don't think I need to be afraid to you about this." And Nozel got annoyed on that statement. And Flegolion says, "Calm down, Steel Eagle. You don't need to be so arrogant with him." And Nozel says, "Gee, a little cub has fangs?" Then both of them having a straight out argument, showing their magic. And Asta says, "Calm down, you two. I don't think we need to argue on this." And Nozel says, "I'm not taking him." And then Yami raises his hand, saying, "I'll take him." And then Flegolion says, "I agree on that as well." And then Dorothy wakes up and says, "Oh wow, despite my not sensing your anti-magic, I can sense your gravity magic. It's interesting." And Rill says, "Your magic is such unique. I would honestly make an art out of it." And Asta says, "Whoa, really? That's so cool!" And both have a chatter on that. And Dorothy and Rill agree on Asta if they want to take him. And then Charlotte, I never seen 2 grimoires before, so it is unique. But I think we need to give you some simple tasks. Maybe someone in the Black Bulls will help." And then Blush looking at Yami and says, "I won't take you, but I'll keep it in mind." And then Jack the Ripper says, "He's too friendly. I'm not taking him." And then, your magic with your gravity is impressive, but that's not why I'm also impressed. Your physical on how you lifted that sword with such strength. But I can't say I would choose you. But you do have a very valid grimoire to say. But I would not choose you. And Asta got out of about 4 captains like his attitude and his grimoire and his personality as well. And Asta says, "Looks like I'm going to be with the Black Wolves." And then he meets Captain Yami. And Captain Yami says, And Asta says, "Great to meet ya, Yami sir." And Yami says, And Asta says, "What? Is there something the matter?" "No, it's nothing. I really want to be great friends with you." and the other members. And Yami then says, what do you mean? And Yami then says, oh, why? And Asta says, because I made a promise that I'll make lots of friends and I won't betray their trust. And Asta was smiling. But when he was smiling, Yami then says, alright, how about this? And Yami grabs his head. Hey, what are you doing? And Yami then says, relax. And Yami then sends his magic and his anti-magic. He's very curious and interested and scared about that. I like it. You have such an interesting magic around you with 2 grimoires. Alright, I'll take it. And Asta says, was that a test or something? And Yami says something like that. He waves his hand. Now come on, we're going to the base. And Asta says, alright! And following Yami, Finral made the gate and they teleported to the Black Bolt base. And that's where I'm ending this video. I hope you like this video.